Shalom, shalom, Yasharala. I want to start off first things first. Giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakadash, which in the Paleo Hebrew tongues, creating Heavenly Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to your sister, brothers, name is truth. And shalom to brothers and sisters that's listening and studying and show themselves approved. Shalom. Check it out, Yasharala. We're going to go into one of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. We're going to go into that. Something that you can't get out the so-called black church. And it's good to know the mystery of the kingdom of heaven and know just what you're dealing with so that you know what's at hand. And you can be in the right spirit and the right frame of mind to handle what's in front of us. So we're going to talk about today is Revelation 16, verse 13. And it reads, "And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." And 14, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Almighty." Bam. So when you look at that and you ask yourself, what are those 3 unclean spirits that's like frogs? And he told you come out the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And you got to figure out, what that is. The church will tell you that's just some spirits, unclean spirits. That's all it is, and they run right through it. And see, they'll never ponder to think. Like, just like we are spirits with a physical body, these 3 unclean spirits also have a physical counterpart to them as well. And what are those counterparts doing? They're working the miracles of the devil. That's what they doing. Once you know who the devil is, you gotta like, man, what is that? And see, now we're gonna break it down. We're gonna shed light on that. We're gonna break down what those 3 unclean spirit like frogs are. Because when you look at it, when you know the scriptures, a lot of times the Lord is letting you know, he's giving you descriptions of governments, systems that's in place. And it's no different with these 3 unclean spirits. Now, these 3 unclean spirits, we're going to go to an article that explains it perfectly. And we're going to go to scriptures to break it down further. So check it out. Those 3 unclean spirits, those are 3 city-states. And we're going to find out what those city-states are. A city-state is like a state inside a country, but it has its own sovereignty, which I think this article will break it down better than I can. So I would read that part right there, but man, that's so cold, that might get the lesson flagged. So you would just see what they say right there. And that's absolutely true. You see that. So check it. We're going to go down. It says, what are the 3 city-states, and do they rule the world? Yes, they do. They do rule the world. Now we're going to run down what those city-states are. So check it out. It says, the flag in Washington District of Columbia has 3 red stars, each symbolizing a city-state within a 3-city empire. The 3-city empire consists of Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican City. You peep that? Washington, D.C. is over here in Babylon the Great America. London is over there, it's in Europe. And then you got the Vatican City, which is also in Europe. That's in Italy, over in that country. That's where the Pope is at. And we're going to read more about that. Those are your 3 city-states right there. Those are those unclean spirits. It says, London is the corporate center of the 3 city-states and controls the world economically. Washington's District of Columbia city-state is in charge of the military. It's talking about Babylon the Great. It's in charge of the military, the sword. So they're in charge of warfare. And it says in the Vatican offers spiritual guidance. So that's that plantation Christianity. That's that Roman Catholic Church. That's basically what the Vatican is. It's the Roman Catholic Church that's still continuing in this day. And that's something that our Lord and Savior Yahushua was fighting, way back then. That entity is still here. And see, Jake doesn't ponder that. Like, the false prophets, the people that's coming with that plans of Christianity, man, Yahushua was fighting with that way back then. The Roman Catholic Church is still here. It's the Vatican. It's the Pope. It's still, that entity is still here, ruling over our people. So check it out. It says the Constitution of the District of Columbia operates under a tyrannical Roman law known as Lex Fori, which is no way resembles the U.S. Constitution. And see, you look at Babylon the Great, America, you know that to be true, because America doesn't follow its own rules when it comes to elites and what this country want to do. Like, they won't, what another country got their resources, they just go to war with the military, take it, and do what they want to do. They don't abide by nobody's rules. They bully everybody on the planet that ain't got a big military. And it, like I like how I said, it operates under tyrannical Roman law, because America is nothing but the revised Roman Empire all over again. The Renaissance, the rebirth of Esau and the power when Rome fell, but it didn't die. So a lot of people just think Rome died. No, it didn't. It came back during the Renaissance, and that's why right now America has a Congress and a Senate. That's the same entities that Rome was using. So let's keep reading. When Congress passed the Act of 1871, it created a separate corporate government for the District of Columbia. That's what DC stands for. It stands for District of Columbia. Like, I always used to wonder that when I was younger, like Washington, D.C., like, what did the D.C. stand for? District of Columbia. So found out it's its own city-state. Like, Washington, D.C. abides by its own rules. It don't go by the rules of the American Constitution. It goes by the rules of what Europe say, which goes back to what Rome say. You know, that goes back to. It says, if you take a moment to study some signed treaties and charters between the United States and Britain, you'll find that the United States has always been a British crown colony. Europe's still running this sucker over here, man. America's just a virgin daughter of Europe, Britain. That's basically saying right there, which it is. That's why they still talk to them, the monarchy and all of that. They still deal with all of that. So it says in 1606, King James, yes, the King James revised the Bible, signed the Charter of Virginia. The charter granted America's British forefathers a license to settle and colonize America. The charter also guaranteed future kings and queens of England will have sovereign authority over all citizens and colonized land in America. So America, in a sense, is still ran by Europe. That's why the World Economic Forum is over there in Europe, in Switzerland. And it tells Babylon the Great America what they can and can't do. It still runs like that. You know? And that's all Esau, all Edomites. So it says, in 1783, the Paris Peace Treaty was signed. This treaty identifies the King of England as the Prince of the United States, contradicting the belief that America won the War of Independence. And although King George III of England gave up most claims over his American colonies, he kept his right to continue receiving payments for his business ventures in colonizing America. If America won the War of Independence, why would they agree to pay reparations to the king? And they still pay. What we're going to get to is the article you read, the London, the Bank of England, that's another city-state. All of Esau's money runs through that. All runs through that, which we're going to keep on reading. It says, when the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, the U.S. President was made subservient to the King of England. The 13th Amendment, the title of Nobility Amendment, forbids U.S. officials from using royal titles like king or prince. For some strange reason, though, the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1810, no longer appears in current copies of the U.S. Constitution. It says, the War of Independence against the British bankrupt America and turned the citizens into debt slaves of the king. Going through that now. In 1812, the British torched and burned the White House and all U.S. government buildings to the ground, destroying many ratification records of the U.S. Constitution. And that's something I didn't even know. Like, and that's 1800. That showed. And I noticed they was banging. They called them British redcoats, and they was fighting. Let me bump down because I want to get to the part where it's talking about, the Bank of England. Oh, I gotta bring that out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna keep on reading it because I gotta bring this out because this is big right here. So check it out. It says, then nearly a century later, a corrupt U.S. Congress committed the biggest theft in world history. They passed the Paul Warburg's Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Peep that last name, y'all, Sharala. Warburg. So you know what people he came from. Handing over America's gold and silver reserves and total control of America's economy to the Federal Reserve Bank. Most Americans still believe that the Fed is owned by the government, but it is not. The Fed is a privately owned banking system whose majority class of shareholders include the Rothschilds, Warburgs, J.P. Morgan, and the Rockefellers and the Lehman Brothers. Those are all your ish people right there. And like, I knew that. A lot of people don't know that. Like, in 1913, like that article just said right there, they switched the banks over. When they went to the Federal Reserve, that's how the ish people started controlling Babylon the Great. They have control of it now. They control the economics here, the money. It all goes through their hands. That's how they made everybody debt slaves. So it says, most U.S. citizens believe the United States is a country and the president is its leader. But the U.S. is not a country, it is a corporation. And the president is not our leader, he is the president of the corporation of the U.S. The president, along his elected officials, work for the corporation, not for the American people. And see, Esau having a hard time figuring it out right now. He's starting to figure that out. And it's hurting his feelings. Us, Yasharala, Israelites, we already knew that. Or you should have known that. The president don't really run this country. He runs the corporation. Babylon the Great America is a corporation. It's really not a country. That's why it sells out, sells its business. It's all about business over here, whoredom. Because it's a corporation, man. That's why I like in the scriptures it calls her Babylon the whore. And talking about she got rich off the merchants. It's talking about America. So check it says, so who owns the giant U.S. corporation? Like Canada and Australia, whose leaders are prime ministers of the Queen, and whose land is called Crown Land, the U.S. is just another crown colony. Crown colonies are controlled by the empire of the three city-states. Thus, the U.S. controlled by the three city-states, which goes back into those three unclean spirits that look like frogs. It's controlled by that, which we're going to get to it first. It's going to be the Bank of London and also the Vatican City. See if I want to even read that. Okay, we can finish that off. I'm going to read the last little part, and then we're going to jump into the other two city-states. Right now, we've been talking about Babylon the Great, America, Washington, D.C., and then we're going to break down the other two unclean spirits, which is the Vatican City and London, the Bank of England. We're going to cover those two. So let's read this. It says, let's get into some symbolism. At the center of each city-state are giant phallic-shaped stone monuments called obelisks, and they are. In D.C., the obelisk is known as the Washington Monument, and was dedicated to George Washington by the Freemason Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia. The Secretive Brotherhood of Freemasons laid the Washington obelisk cornerstone in 1848 and contributed 22 Masonic memorial stones. 250 Masonic lodges financed the Washington Monument obelisk, including the Knights Templar Masonic Order. 3 cities ruled the world. And that's so true. Because they broke it down earlier when we was at the top. When it said the Vatican offers the spiritual guidance and that the London is the corporate center of the 3 city-states. So let's get into that on those. Let's start with the Bank of England, which is a central bank in London. You hear that? So that's a central bank. That's the number 1 bank in the world. Esau, all his money and currency runs through the Bank of England, a central bank that's in London. It's a city-state. They operate by their own rules. That's why a lot of people like, where they always hear that saying in the world, I'm going to give me a Swiss bank account. Everybody like to run and clean their money through, the Bank of England, which control all the finances of the whole world. Which that shows you why the World Economic Forum is also over there in Europe, right by the bank. So they can go ahead and control everybody's finances. When they switch it digital, they can switch it digital. All they got to do is once the Bank of England in London goes to a CBDC, The whole world will go to CBDC and run that same currency. That's how the devil rule, man. He got the bank right here, Bank of England in London, and then to make sure people's minds is messed up and caught up with that, that false prophecy, that false gospel, plunges Christianity and sweet baby Jesus, they have the Vatican City where the Pope is at. And look at that architecture. What does that look like? Look at the columns. Look like Rome, look like Mount Seir. Same thing. So it's a Catholic city-state. So they tell you that Catholic city-state, home of the Pope, known for the Sistine Chapel frescoes in St. Peter's Basilica. So that's the religion part right there. That all churches are ran like the Roman Catholic Church. They're all centered to that. That's why your so-called black church is a bunch of garbage, man. They don't really teach you the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Because it's really what you get when you go to a so-called black church or plants Christianity. What you're getting is the religion that comes from the Vatican City. And what I love how Yahweh Shah is doing this, he's exposing all of these entities. Like the Pope passing out, because they got so many cases of messing with little boys, they don't know what to do. They're being exposed. The whole economy is all messed up. They getting ready to go to a digital currency. And then when you look at Washington, D.C., you look at Babylon Great America, that sword ain't strong like it used to be, man. The enemies are starting to rise up against Babylon the Great. The sword looking weak, the dollar looking weak, and their religion looking weak. That's that whole demonic system, that whole satanic system is starting to crumble, man. Them three frogs, them unclean spirits that was working miracles, hey, that's coming to an end. Why? Because the spirit of Yahweh Shah is now taking hold and starting to dominate again. So they should put you in a good spirit, Yahshua. Like the Lord is, breaking it down right before our eyes. That's why the devil is about to get angry and come down with great wrath, because he taking L's all over the place. And he getting pissed off because we about to get free. So before we get loose, he gonna try to jump on us. And that's when Yahweh Shah gonna show him what it do. So let's get back into the scriptures. After we've uncovered what those three city-states were. We got the Vatican City, you got London, the Bank of England, and then you got Washington, D.C. Three of them right there. And through them three things, you got to think about it, Yahshua. With those three things, you can rule, man. You can dominate with those three things. That's a hellified witchcraft right there. You control the military, you control the religion, and you control the finances. Man, you control people's lives when you control those three entities. And with that, that's how Esau ruling right now. And it's coming undone. And this is, all breaking down. Let's go back to the scriptures. Because now we unveiling these mysteries. Now we go to the scriptures and we go to things like Revelation 13:3. And it said, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So now we breaking down what that beast is. It's Esau and it's government systems. And his new beast is what? Babylon the Great. Which operates just like, the EU, which is a beast. That's the beast. And when you look at the whole beast system of Esau, the Roman rulership was a beast. And it got wounded. It got dang near destroyed, but it wasn't destroyed. That's why you read the scripture, it said, and his deadly wound was healed. Rome is back. Rome came back through the Renaissance. That's why we got Roman numerals in our Bible. The Super Bowl got Roman numerals. These Edomites, they back, man. Babylon the Great runs just like Rome. When you read Paul and you like get a feel for what was going on at that time, I noticed America was just like Rome was just like America. Like it was the same. We under them same rulership, the same rules. They back. They just modernized them a little bit with the same rulership. Prove that. Let's go to Revelation 17:11. Let's further shine some light on that. And check it out. This Revelation 17:11. It says, the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. So it said he's even of the eighth and the seventh. So he's both. So what that's letting us know right there is that Rome You know, even though it looked like it was destroyed, it was gonna come back again as a new beast, even more ferocious than it was before. And you know what type of hell they put on our people back then? Rome did. You know, Paul, Yahushua, they the ones, they put Yahushua to the death at that time. That was Romans, man. Edomites. They still ruling to this day. And they got a new system called America. You know, which they have a city-state within America called Washington, D.C. And they do all their military operations through that. Like when the Ish people want something, when the European Edomites want something, when everybody wants something, they go to the American Edomites, and the American Edomites go bully people and take it, and they break down the money, and they funnel it to the Bank of England in London, and they give it to the Vatican, the Pope, the religion. Everybody get fat off of what they went and got with the sword. That's how Esau been getting down for so long. And now, those spirits, man, they lose and they waver, because the Spirit of the Lord is out now. So now they starting to lose that power they had over Yahshua. And that's pissing this devil off. That's going to lead to him coming down with great wrath. Because he like, hold up, I had Yahshua in my hand this whole time. I did whatever I wanted to do with the Lord's people. I dominated them. Now they starting to get up out my hands, because now they starting to know their power. And see, that's that false prophet losing his sway. Because that false prophet is very important to Esau's rulership. Because you got to get the people believing in a false Messiah. That way they don't call on the real Messiah. And see, that's the Lord like, hey, I'm busting all that up, man. My people that I want, that love me, they're going to know my name. They're going to call on my name, and they're going to want me. And I'm going to feed them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That way they know what's going on. It's like we breaking down this lesson. Now you know what those three unclean spirits are. There's the three city-states. And now you know the entities that rule over us, man. Washington, D.C., you know, District of Columbia, the sword. You got the Bank of England. Esau rule over us with his money. You know, over there in London. You got them switched bank accounts. The head central bank is over there in London. So the Esau got a hold of all the money, resources. They dominate people with that. And then also, the killer part is they dominate with the false prophet. With their religion, the Vatican, the Roman Catholicism, that sweet baby Jesus doctrine. Displaying Esau's images, you know, over the Messiah as if he's white. You know, as he's an Edomite. That dominates Jake. You know, that's why I said the false prophet. It said the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet come out their mouth. And through those three entities, Esau rules. You know, at least he did. Because now it look like he about to get his judgment. Because if we go to Revelation 20 and 10, it's going to bring those same entities up and talk about, you know, the future, what's going to happen to them. And this Revelation 20 and 10. And it reads, and the devil that deceived them was cast in the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. You peep that and see. If you don't read that and you got to study your edge, you ain't going to know, like, what's that lake of fire? That's going to be when those thermonuclear missiles go off. Hey, Vatican City about to get blew up. Washington, D.C. about to get blew up. Bank of London about to get blew up. That mug going in the lake of fire. It's going to get hit with multiple nuclear missiles. It's going to make a lake of fire. So that precept is about to happen, and about to happen soon. That's why that devil mad. It's like, God dang, like, if something don't happen, man, I'm about to lose everything I got. And he gonna lose everything he got. The Lord just said, your stuff going up in fire and smoke, Esau. Fire and brimstone. You know? And look, he said, the devil that deceiveth them. All of Esau, man, his governments, his rulership is about to get burnt up. About to get blew up. And that's good news right there for us. Good news, great news. You know? And then if I bump down to 14, Revelation 20:14, it says, and death and hell were cast in the lake of fire. This is the second death. You know? So that breaks down what a plenty of Christians talking about. Hell is where you burn forever. You already burning in hell. They said death and hell were cast in the lake of fire. Because when you break it down and really understand scriptures, Esau is synonymous with death. And what does he bring with him? Hell. That's what Esau brings. He is death and he brings hell. Both of those energies going to be put away when those nuclear missiles go off and blow up Esau's kingdom. He's going to be cast into the lake of fire. And that's that second death. He did the first death by water, second going to be by fire. He got to scorch it. That's how filthy Esau done made this kingdom now. And that's good news. That's why the devil, he about to come with it, Yashrala, because he got about a short time. Because like now we broke down those 3 city-states. Those 3 city-states are now losing power. They're losing their power. They losing their sway over the nation of Israel that they used to have. As I said, that false prophet, he was big, man. He about to go down. The true believers are not listening to the false prophet no more. They in the right spirit. So not only did Esau got left is the sword and his money. And those things ain't working like they used to. Esau fighting amongst themselves. Like when you read the scriptures, it said the beast shall hate the whore. You know, Satan cast out Satan. How can his kingdom stand? So they fighting amongst each other. Scandals is coming out. Other countries are getting better military and nuclear capability better than them. And that's the Lord casting them down. Because we just read the fate of his rulership, where it's going. It's going in the lake of fire. These devils know the scriptures like we do. And we read these scriptures like this, doing these lessons, and it's putting fear in that devil's heart. Because he know that's about to be true. He just didn't want us to believe it's true. But he knows it's true. And now we know it's true. So it's about to happen. The 3 unclean spirits are about to be purged out. About to get burnt up. And those are those 3 city-states that Esau uses to rule. Those 3 entities. Those are the 3 things Esau used like clockwork. Like the scripture said, he uses those to work his miracles. Because by those 3 entities, you can rule people. You know, but now they losing their luster, man. The false prophet done lost the narrative with the believers. The money is all messed up. They got to change it into digital. And then the military looking bad, man. Moab and, you know, the other Edomites is getting their stuff together, man. They looking, matter of fact, I done said it so much. Let's see, let's get that. Let's leave off with that. Let's leave off with that, because that's what's about to happen now. And that's in Revelation 17 and 16. And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So that's the EU. You can see that happening in real time right now. When Babylon the Great America blew up that Nord Stream, that pissed those European Edomites off, the EU off. Because now they're fighting with Putin, the Medes, you know, Magog and Gog, fighting with them. And it's hard for them to fight because Babylon the Great took out their natural gas. You know, that was stupid. And so now, and their money is all messed up because of the bad business. They making bad decisions. They're not trading amongst each other no more like that. So now the whore and the beast is fighting. And we just read the scripture what's going to happen. That beast, because he getting towed up, man, he going to burn that whore with fire. That's going to go to them nuclear missiles, man. The whole NATO and Babylon Great America are not going to have to be allies no more. And you know, like I know, Yashrala, if Babylon the Great America loses NATO as an ally, it's over with. That's the only thing keeping them other nations in check. If they lose NATO, and NATO, which goes to the EU system, turns on Babylon the Great America, stick a fork in her, man. She's really already done now. But if she lose NATO, she lose the beast, it's a wrap. And it's happening. We're seeing it. The European countries, if you watching, paying attention, Yashrala, the European countries is talking noise to Babylon Great America. Like, basically saying, y'all some fuck-ups, man. Y'all done messed us up, man. We're in a bad way. And you said you're going to do something about Putin, and you ain't doing nothing about Putin. He over here blasting Ukraine up, and he about to get the blasting on NATO, too. They about to take some shots, too. And they about to get the bickering and fighting, and guess what that does? They lose sight of trying to attack Yashrala Israel, so I can see us getting salvation. I can see the hope busting through. Because they about to be fighting each other so hard, they going to lose Yashrala in a minute. Yahweh gonna hide his hopeful elect doing this craziness that's about to break out between all these rulerships that's ruling. So I just hope this is edifying. I want to do a lesson on those unclean spirits that come out, which now we know those are 3 city-states, governments that rule the world. And now we know you can identify which ones they are, the 3. The Vatican, London, Bank of England, and Washington, D.C., which goes into America. Now we know what those are. So with that being said, man, I hope this has been edifying. I want to say Kwam Yasharala, DTL Baba Bob, Shalom.